Okay, I'm only making this video because you apparently really want it bad, and I'm busy. I'm actually watching Maoist Rebels blog TV, so I'm gonna do this in a hurry. Essentially, you said about how I bash you guys. I don't even remember exactly what you said. Essentially how I'm negative toward you, so you're gonna be negative toward me. Last I checked, I didn't know who the fuck all of you were until you started defending Mr. Reb Zion. That's how all of this started. I was busy exposing Mr. Reb Zion as the shill and the backstabbing son of a bitch that he is, and all of a sudden, all of his cult members just came out of the woodwork like cockroaches, and you leaped from the ceiling, row, fight the power, and just started nipping at my heels. So no, I wasn't negative towards you. You brought that on yourself when you defended Mr. Reb Zion. What, I'm not supposed to react to that? I'm not supposed to notice the fact that you blindly love this, creature? No. That's all on you. If you want to defend Mr. Reb Zion and get between what we were doing, that's your problem. I have no problems with any of you. Just Mr. Reb Zion. But you've made it your problem. You've decided that somehow you have to crusade against me, and that I am evil, and that I am, the worst person in the world, besides, of course, Fematheus, apparently, who, by the way, also did not incite your rage. She did not personally go after any of you. You made it your business. In other words, you guys are vigilantes. That's what you are. You think that it's somehow your duty to go around saving the world from people like me and Fematheist, who've done nothing to you. Done nothing to most anybody. We're just giving our opinions, because quite frankly, that's harder to do than it sounds. It's extremely hard to just have an opinion and people not try to censor you or intimidate you or coerce you into shutting up. And rather than focus on that, you gotta play Batman and dress up in your pajamas and go around trying to start something with me and Fematheus. Why? Why don't you join us against moderators? They're the bad guys. They're the ones that want to silence you and censor you and oppress you. Mr. Reb Zion wants to silence you, censor you, and oppress you. Me and Fematheus want to do no such thing. While you might argue that our politics are less than beneficiary, that our politics are not to your best interest, we do not personally want to hurt you. We both want to change society for the better. If you want to change society for the better, maybe you should consider who the fuck you're defending. You're not defending people who have any interest in improving humanity. They want to just get by selfishly. Mr. Reb Zion is just purely selfish. He looks only for his own interest, he thinks only of himself, and he only lets people post on his YouTube that glorify him. Everything's about fucking him. He's an egomaniacal asshole. And if you want to worship that, you go right ahead. But I'm going to continue to talk about him, because he is an asshole, and he is egomaniacal, and I'm going to point that out. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, that gets that out of the way. And another thing is that you seem to think that I separate myself from the rest of humanity when you say that I hope for the destruction of humankind, that I somehow would contradict myself if I said I didn't want to die. Well, nobody wants to die. That's a normal human response. That's a normal living organism response. Nobody wants to die, but, and this is a big but, if we were all to die at the same time, I think I'd be content. I think I'd be content with the fact that if I have to die, everybody should have to come with me. That's the only way it would be fair. It's the only way it would be fair that someone as righteous as I would have to die in the first place, that everyone else who's a much bigger scumbag than myself have to come with me. I think that makes us square. So, no, I do not somehow separate myself from the rest of humanity. I merely look at this from an objective standpoint. The fact is, I am a human being, and I'm gonna die eventually. I can only pray that everyone else has to die too. And I can only pray for an asteroid to hit the Earth, of some kind of super virus that infects us all, or some other bullshit that comes along and just wipes us all out. That way, I don't have to just die by myself, knowing that assholes like Mr. Reb Zion get to continue living, making lots of money, and being successful, and fucking just laughing maniacally as they get to benefit from their evil. That's what this comes down to. People benefit from being evil. And that's why you have to be cruel, and that's why you have to be deceitful. That's why you have to be underhanded, and petty, and mean. Because there is no other way to get ahead in life. There is no other way to fight this than in order to be as, just brutal as you can possibly be. You have to use every single avenue you possibly can. You can't afford to come to this with your hands tied behind your back, believing in a magical sky god that's gonna make everything right. That's what's wrong with Christianity, which I've pointed out at least 1 billion times before. And you don't want to get that. So that's why I tend to cherry pick what I say to you, because you're arrogant. You don't want to listen. You just want to pretend like I'm just doing this because I'm a mean guy. I'm such a troll. Woohoo, boo-hoo-hoo. Such a bully. No. This is the way the world is. The world is dark. The world is dreary. The world doesn't care about you. And you're too fucking stubborn to see it. You want to believe that the world is sunshine and ponies. Meanwhile, people far more despicable than you, far more undeserving than you, are making lots of money and have lots of influence and power and using those things to bring you even more down because your life just isn't bad enough as it is. No, they gotta use that shit to bring you down just a little bit more. That's the kind of world we live in, buddy. That's the kind. Maybe you're just too young to understand that. Maybe it's because the fact that you're 16 years old that you just don't quite comprehend the magnitude of evil that is out there. But by the time you do, it'll be too late. You'll be so indoctrinated that you'll think, well, that's just the way the world is. I guess I'll accept it and go back to work. So that's why I say the things I say to you. I wanted to say more, but like I said, I'm in a hurry. So, maybe I'll make a part 2 later on after I've watched Maoist Rebel. Because, unlike, you, he's actually smart. He's articulated. And I actually enjoy his company and his opinion. So, I guess that's it.